I did this thing where I was just kind of counting passes, like every time down, how many passes the team make.
Yeah.
So I watched 12 games. I watched 12 games on average each game. On average for the whole game, it was like 2.7 or 2.8 passes
Per possession.
per time down, per possession down the court,
before a shot went
like
up.
before a shot went up.
This an
So
NBA game.
this is NBA. This is NBA.
Yeah. What y'all
Yeah.
think is like the downsides to that? Because like you said, it's great. The game is faster. It's more entertaining. It's
Hmm.
probably more skilled than ever. I think at some point they're gonna get rid of the inbounds pass too, and niggas are gonna take that bitch out the net and go. Welcome back to the Role Player Podcast, man. We got once again. I am Jordan Taylor. I'm back again with my guy, Stanford gentleman, co-founder of Swish Cultures, 11-year overseas vet, and my man's hairline looking a little shaky today. It's been a week or so since we've been on here, so we got the we got the one and only Anthony Goods. Ant, what's up, man?
Man, I see you got the lights dim over there. I don't think your hairline too straight either, and I guess got a do rag on, so we all might be struggling here for a minute.
No, I got to keep my braids right, man.
Hey, he about to be on TV, so he getting ready. He coming
Exactly.
correct. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly.
again, our podcast is presented by Swish Cultures, available on Eurohoops.net, Spotify, and YouTube, Apple Podcasts as well. So go ahead and tap in with us. Obviously, you hit that subscribe button on Swish Cultures as well. And today we got a very special guest, man. We got the two-time Arkansas Mr. Basketball way back when. You getting up there like us now, man. But it's got
Hmm.
McDonald's All American, first round pick in 2013 to the Phoenix Suns, 29th overall. And actually, you got selected by the Oklahoma City Thunder and then traded a couple
Hmm.
times on draft night, right? So we
Hmm.
got the one and only Archie Goodwin, man. Archie, thanks for pulling up on us. We appreciate you.
Man, I thank y'all for having me. I appreciate being here.
No doubt, no doubt. You in a time crunch, man. You about to go play TBT. You still got a lot of hoop
Hmm.
left in you, so we're gonna jump right
Hmm.
into it, man. So, as we said, you the first round pick, late first round pick. So,
Hmm.
kind of break it down for us. With summer league just ending, what was your mindset going into the summer league as a one and done guy, late first round pick, and Alex Len, who was the fifth overall pick, same class with you,
Hmm.
right, to Phoenix.
Hmm.
What was your
Hmm.
mindset going into the summer league? Like, what were you trying to get done? What were you trying to show? What was your objectives?
I was just honestly eager to play because well, that year Alex got hurt. He was I don't if I can remember right, I don't think he played summer league because he had got hurt. And
Right.
so we had a really good team. We had PJ Tucker who was playing with us in summer league. We had Marcus and Markeith Morris playing with us that year in summer league. Myself and then a couple more guys that played on their team the previous year. So we had a really good team and we made it to the finals. But my mindset was just getting out there and just trying to kind of prove who I am. And I earned a lot of respect from my teammates there, from the coaches. That was my first time meeting Damian Lillard too. We played against them my first game, I think, summer league, and he commented on how nice he thought my game was after the first game. So it was just one of those things where I was kind of just living in the moment, and just trying to learn and be the best I could be. And our head coach of the year, Jeff Hornacek, was our coach for summer league too, so making a good impression on him as well.
Yo, did you feel any pressure like stepping into that situation? Because, I mean, obviously being around other guys, and a lot of guys coming into the summer league. Like, you got some vets that's there. I mean, Jeff Hornacek being there, and there's a lot of eyes on you. Did you feel pressure to perform? Being young, coming out, being first round, that type of thing.
Honestly, not really, and it's because my college experience. So when I was in Kentucky that year, we had a up and down year. We dealt with an injury to Nerlens, which hurt us big time when we was just catching our stride. And so a lot of the not guilt, but a lot of the fault of us struggling went to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was our best player or whatever. So a lot of that went to me, and I was just in a clear mindset of getting out of that, because there was a lot of media pressure from that, and so getting out of that and taking me to summer league and being drafted, where it's a whole new fresh start. It was just another, like I said, it was a new start. I didn't have to think about the past anymore, and I was able to, get past that part of my life into another phase of being a pro, which is what I wanted to do. So it was one of those things where I just took it and was living in the moment of it, and I was excited about what was to come for me.
Man, what y'all think is more beneficial? Because you said you had the Morris twins, you had PJ Tucker, so those are all now bona fide NBA guys. Like obviously at the time, I think PJ was still trying to fight his way in
Yeah,
right
that
at
was
the
his
time.
first. That was his first or second year back in the NBA.
Okay,
And
okay,
then that was the twins were like their third year in or second or third year in, so they were
yeah,
still relatively young as well. So yeah, it
but
was.
that's three other draft picks where it's like sometimes like my first summer league experience. I think I had John Jenkins was our first rounder, and I always wonder what y'all this for both of y'all. What's easier to come in and be the only like one of two draft picks and the only first rounder, or is it easier to play on a team with like four draft picks like you had and bona fide NBA
hmm
guys as a rookie? You know what I'm saying? Does that make
hmm
sense? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does. For me, I think with my development, that was better for me because I was so young. I was 18, so there was a lot about the professional game that I didn't know about how to play it, different rules, different tempos. So them kind of getting on me at that time and teaching me helped me a lot to where I was able to be really good for us in summer league. If I didn't have that in that summer league, I'm not saying I wouldn't have played good, but it might not have been as efficient, and might not have been as effective. We might have lost some games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I needed that because I wasn't coming in as a guy that was like being at that getting drafted at that position. You don't. They're not expecting me to come in and try to go for 30 every game. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I needed that, and I think I ended up even leading us in scoring that year for summer league. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So I think that me being there with those guys, it definitely helped me because they taught me a lot, and they was always there teaching me, but also it let me grow as a player. The coach was doing the same thing, so it was very beneficial for me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely easier playing with vets, man. Because I mean, I don't think vets are as thirsty to prove themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
guys that are already solidified, like they'll look at a young guy like, okay, he's gonna be on our team, so let's try to groom him. Whereas if you on a team full of a bunch of G League guys and some undrafted free agents that's
Everybody
trying to
trying to
get
go
it,
at it.
you know what I'm saying? They gonna be crowding the flow. They gonna be breaking plays off. Ain't nobody spacing out. Guys raising up out the corner. Like you're gonna have a lot more issues, man. So I think definitely playing with vets is probably a better look than a bunch of guys that's just out there trying to get it. Then it end up turning to like ABCD camp. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
for
Like,
sure, for sure,
Yeah,
100%.
that's it. And for you to doing well in summer league, I feel like might be one of the hardest things in the world, man. Because you just got a bunch of dudes. I was watching Washington yesterday, and somebody drove. Two dudes cut to the ball at the same time. One dude caught it, looked at him, stopped, took a dribble and spun. I was like, oh, this is bullshit. Like,
Man, summer league is getting worse. If
it's
if you see, like, it's getting worse with. So you got to think now it's a whole new dynamic now. So high school players can come now, two-way contracts. Um, those two things there are making it so much more like towards like a lot more people get opportunities. So with a lot more people getting opportunities as young guys, that also means that it's going to be a lot more guys trying to prove themselves. You know what I'm saying? So now guys aren't looking to get exhibit 10s and these little training camp deals. Guys are looking for those two-way deals because you can happen at any second. Like you can get signed and cut for one in the same day, realistically. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
um, it's always like that. Like now, it's even more crucial to be on your stuff as far as trying to get in the NBA because it's a lot of guys that are outside the NBA that should be there, but it's only 400 that can get in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only 400. So
I,
and the two-way thing don't make it no easier.
I hope it gets to a point where there's more than just the two ways, where you get a whole, and I think it will, is a whole G League roster full of guys making decent money. But I think it's not only that, but it's just the way the game is played now too, where it's like in summer league and in general, whoever get the ball is pushing it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no designated position. So if I got it, shit, my turn. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's hard to find a
You
rhythm that
have
way.
you man, I was it's crazy. I was watching and I was talking to my teammate about this the other day. I watch like when I'm in Europe, I watch all league pass all day because I have nothing else to do, and I just love watching basketball. Like I watch it all day. I watch
Right.
YouTube videos, everything. So I did this thing where I was just kind of counting passes, like every time down how many passes the team make.
Yeah.
So I watched 12 games. I watched 12 games on average from each game. On average for the whole game, it was like 2.7 or 2.8 passes
Per possession.
per time down per possession down the court.
Before a shot went
Like
up.
before a shot went up. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Nah, and I'm not counting passing the ball in. Like I'm not counting that. I'm counting once the ball come across the court, how many passes? 2.7 passes.
This an
So
NBA game.
this is NBA. This is NBA. NBA, like when I watch it, man, it's only a few teams I really watch that I really like enjoy watching
Yeah.
because everything else is like it looks like pickup ball. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's looking more and more like pickup ball for real. And I mean, it's a testament to the game. It's a lot faster and guys are a lot more skilled.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep them in a box because whereas you got the old, like let's say back in the '90s, right, where bigs don't shoot, you pass the ball to the big at the top. His job is to go to the other
Swing it.
side with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now, if you pass to the top and you got Jokic or Embiid or
That shit.
Karl Anthony Towns, then you're bagging up. It's a shot. It's a great shot because they can shoot.
Right.
So that contributes a lot to it. But man, it's just it's crazy to see, man. It just look it's like this and straight nothing but threes and layups.
Yeah. What y'all
Yeah.
think is like the downsides to that? Because I like you said, it's great. The game is faster. It's more entertaining. It's probably more skilled than ever. I think at some point they're gonna get rid of the inbounds pass too, and niggas are gonna take that bitch out the net and go. Like, at some point, like, nigga, come on, fuck it, like, come on. But
Real
like,
talk.
but like, what a lot of times, when you have this type of advancements, you always look at the positives as you should. But what are some of like the
hmm
downsides you think to this? For me, it's the blowouts.
Well, for yes, for me being a basketball player and actually being in it, and you guys play too, so I like to see more competition. You know what I'm saying? So as where it's more competitive in the night. The reason they said the '90s and stuff was even the early 2000s was more competitive because it was more of a half court game. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So with it being more of a half court game and it slows down, guys are able to really touch and bump, get physical, and compete. Whereas now it's so up and down to where you don't get those opportunities to do that, and it's just a lot of alley oops and threes. So it's more fun for the kid to watch,
yeah,
or who's the average basketball fan. It might be more fun for them to watch, but a person like me who plays and I really value the game and I really cherish it. It doesn't really resonate with me in the sense of like this is just so entertaining to watch. I watch it a lot because
right,
I like to watch basketball, but also so I can also be in tune where if opportunity in the NBA comes, I understand how to adjust. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right,
So I stay watching it for those reasons. But to say that I just flat out like the way the game is played right now, I can't. I'll be lying if I said I did because I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like the European game is more so what I would want the NBA to be like as far as physicality and actually playing the game of basketball because Europe is a lot tougher. You know what I'm saying? Like where these guys aren't as athletically gifted as NBA players are,
yeah,
they're a shit ton tougher. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And you get away with a lot more. It's a lot more physical game, and the skill levels is really good too. So those games are more interesting to watch. Like when I watch EuroLeague games, I really like in tune with them because man, they getting out there, they bumping, picking up full, being able to touch, hard screens, you know, dives on the like a lot of stuff. Like, and you got a couple guys in the NBA that do it, but as a whole, in Europe, like I would say, 80% of the players in Europe they are like grit and grind. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And in the NBA, you might have one or two every team. You know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah.
just a lot different.
Yeah,
So,
I think
oh,
the
yeah,
game in Europe. I think for the game in Europe, man, for the basketball purists, for guys that just love hoop, man, I think it's a beautiful form of
hmm
basketball. You know what I mean? The league it has catered more towards the fan, you know, over the years because that's what's keeping the bills coming, and because of
For
that,
sure.
players are getting these contracts that we never thought that they
Hmm.
would earn. So it's a beautiful thing because now you taking that young kid that maybe didn't see much of a future, and now you're making him a millionaire 100 times over, which is dope, and
Hmm. For
just
sure.
seeing that in regards to the black community, man, but. For basketball in general, man, I think EuroLeague basketball is definitely the most purest form of basketball because there's strategy defensively, offensively. Like, and I remember when Luka was coming out, man. There's always one play that I seen Luka come off of pick and rolls, a top pick and roll. He had a guard on his hip. He had probably 7 foot big on a high flat, and then he threw this
Hmm.
left hand hook pass to the corner, man, and it was right on point. And it was
Hmm.
like at that point, I'm like, he gonna be fine in the league because that big
Hmm.
ain't gonna be up there
They
like
ain't gonna be
that.
like that.
That guard
And the
ain't gonna
help
be
side,
hugging his hip.
the help side ain't gonna
Like
be there like that.
I was
Like,
like, nah,
it's
he
no
gonna be
three
picking the
seconds in
offensive
Europe.
part.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
was.
And he even said it. He said like the NBA is not as tough as Europe. Like he's like obviously the NBA players are better, but as far as the style of play and stuff, Europe is tougher. Like a lot of players, like you take not superstars, but if you take like those mid level to not even mid level, like kind of those tier guys, like those them British guys, like on the 14th, 15th man, you take them and put them in Europe, they'll struggle. You know what I'm saying? Some of them will struggle. Like a good amount of them will struggle because it's a different game. You know what I mean? Like if they're bringing them in off the NBA, they thinking they're gonna be the man in Europe. You know what I'm saying for that team in Europe, and it don't work like that.
Nah,
Yo, I got a
facts.
question. I got a question for y'all. So like, if you were to if you were to play the NBA with European rules, which NBA team do you think would be the best?
That's a good
Golden
question.
State. I think Golden State
If you,
because if you look at Golden State from a defensive standpoint, they've always been pretty good. From an offensive standpoint, they pass the ball so good and already as it is. Like that's the one team. Like I say, it's only a couple teams I enjoy watching. That's one of them because the way they move the ball and everybody touches it, and it just looks so fun to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks so like I don't you see how much fun Steph has and Draymond and Clay. They all have so much fun because it's like they understand who the guys are, but the guys also understand if I get this guy open and get him a shot, that means I'm gonna have my opportunities as well. So everybody flourishes. You know what I mean? So I think that team might be the best team if the rules change because a lot of these other teams, if it comes down to like the paint being packed like that, do they have the shooters? Is number one that's good enough to shoot out of that? Because that's one thing, and also will they pass the ball enough? Because some of these teams have such ball dominant guys that that guy who's so ball dominant is going to try to do a lot of one on one and make stuff happen for himself. So it's going to be tough. You know what I mean? So that's why I think like that team, Boston. I think Boston would be good. Um, the teams who kind of can play through each other so instead of just playing through one guy or one or two guys, like those teams would be the better teams.
I think I could Golden State for sure. Golden State would be in there. Obviously, the teams that got the best players are still going to thrive. Like you got KD and
Yeah, for
LeBron. Like
sure,
you
for
still
sure.
going to be straight. But as a team, I would probably say Utah would get a bump, and I probably would
Hmm.
say Phoenix would be even better.
Phoenix too.
Yeah, I'd
Yes,
probably
Phoenix for
say
sure.
Phoenix. Phoenix would be
Phoenix, they
even
they do
better.
a great job of playing with each other.
Yeah, the way
That's a
and
fact.
Yeah.
just it would European.
And
We're
they got
pushing
good
the 3 point
defenders.
line closer too, right? The three
Oh,
point line's
see, now I
closer.
didn't
Yeah.
know that. If we push the 3 point
I
line
mean,
closer,
we
then
talking a step
that's
though. We talking a step.
I'm
Like
just
it
saying, but
ain't.
that,
It ain't.
that step make a
hey,
difference.
but that matter on defense though.
That matters for
No,
sure.
I'm
That
not
matters
on
on
defense.
defense.
Nah, for sure.
So that
But
I
that's
think
why
Rudy,
I think that's why
Rudy,
I
Rudy.
think Milwaukee will be dangerous if we play with European rules because
It would be
Milwaukee's
dangerous, but the
long.
defense,
You got
defense
Brook
wise, they'll be
Lopez that can
dangerous.
stretch on the 5 side and then he
Yeah,
can protect the rim. You know what I'm saying? Like
You got Drew,
Milwaukee's long and they defend. They can shoot. You know what I
Giannis.
mean?
Ooh, that'd be tough.
I think they'd be tough too if you playing like
so
European
That's a fact.
rules.
That's a
so we
fact.
saying all the teams that are good in the NBA now are gonna be good with European rules. That's what we saying.
I think that. I mean,
Okay, who wouldn't be
pretty
good?
much
Who wouldn't be good? What
the
good
teams that's
team
not
wouldn't be
good.
good?
What good team
All
wouldn't
three
be
of us
good?
said Phoenix, Boston, Golden State. What team
Okay,
wouldn't
if
be
I
good?
had to pick one, if I had to pick a team that wouldn't be good,
Memphis.
I might say, yeah, I don't think they had the shooting for it, but I will also say Philly. I would say
Yeah,
Philly. Just
I would say Philly, and I would say that I
Ooh.
would say Philly and Memphis because I don't really think they have. I mean, the rim protection is huge, man. When you playing them European rules, you got to have that anchor down low.
but
You know what I
also
mean?
think about this:
I think
James
Philly
Harden is a
good.
one-on-one player.
Yeah,
How's he gonna get in there? He struggled a lot this year as far as with his efficiency. He said he wasn't himself this year. So, but we just going solely off this year. This
Hey,
year he wasn't James Harden. You know what I'm
it,
saying? So we take
yeah.
this year James Harden and trying to and him attacking, and this guy's loaded in that paint. That's tough. That's even
Regular
tougher than it was for him this year.
regular James Harden, Philly gonna be alright. Cause regular James Harden, he gonna go crazy. Well, the problem is Embiid don't roll. They ain't got a roll man. Like that
Hmm
motherfucker don't never roll. But so Philly might struggle. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. Who'd I say? Whoever I said first, I said Memphis. I think Memphis might
You
be
said
able to
Memphis.
eat.
I think
Yeah,
Memphis is a good one. I
yeah.
agree.
Memphis is a good one.
they were because Ja, they had to play Tyus a whole lot more. Shout out Minnesota. You know how
Hmm
we do on this show. We giving love to Minnesota
Hold on.
basketball. Any
All
chance
right,
we
next
get.
next subject. Next subject.
we giving
Next
love to
subject.
Minnesota. Yo, I want to run it back real quick because you talking about kind of how you learned being overseas and learned the game and got to learn. So real quick, touch on how at Kentucky do you feel like Coach Cal or how did Coach Cal help you prepare for the NBA? Because to me, I think we've talked about this before. College does not prepare you for. I mean, it does, but it doesn't really prepare you for the NBA specifically, or even really pro basketball. So how does Coach Cal? Does
Right.
he do anything differently?
So it depends. So like if I'll say this, so when I haven't watched Kentucky play these last few years because I
Yeah,
just kind of be in my own world.
yeah, it's
But
hard.
when I was there, from what I watched before, I used to watch them a lot before I went there. I used to watch Kentucky, and I watched them back to Memphis. From what I watched and from what I was a part of, that's all I can talk about.
Mm,
And from what my observation was from playing and being there was the guys who were the most pro ready were the point guards
mm.
for Coach Cal. So you go back, D Rose, Tyreek Evans, John Wall, Brandon Knight,
Or Bledsoe.
um, and then Eric Bledsoe, John Wall. Then you kind of go to Marcus Teague, and then after that. But from Brandon Knight up, because after Brandon Knight, the next year was Marcus Teague. So Brandon Knight and before, all those guys on those pro teams were were guards. Besides Anthony Davis, oh he wasn't. I didn't count because he was Marcus Teague. But besides, um, DeMarcus Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Cousins was the one big that he had that was like a legitimate pro, a
Right.
lottery pro. All the other ones were guards, point guards, not even shooting guard, point guards. You know what I'm saying? So, in my experience there, when I did play the point guard, was when I was flourishing the most.
Mm,
And then we had another guy come back, Ryan Hurl, and he moved him to the point, and he moved me to the two. Now the problem with being a two in his offense at that time was the two is more of a catch and shoot type of role for his
like
offense.
Tyler Hero.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like so I'm not a catch and shoot player. I'm a guy who plays off the dribble. So that didn't work in my benefit for me.
Mm,
So I think that being a point guard in his system at those times, he prepared you to be a pro because you had the ball so much. You were ball dominant. You controlled everything, and he played through you, especially as a scoring point guard. And all those guys were pretty much scoring point guards, with the exception of John Wall. And he still scored, but he's considered a passer. But the other guys more so would score first PGs. And so he gets in that sense he gets you ready because you're playing a lot of pick and roll. NBA is predominantly pick and roll. He forces you to shoot mid ranges because it's like you have to knock this down. And at that time, it was essential
yeah.
because this is early. This is before the 3 point era, so a lot of that was essential. And then um, all of us were pretty much bigger point guards too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's developing the shit out of you as a point guard. So I think at that time his system was amazing for that. And then I think as time went, like after our year, I think it started kind of predicating to where he was adjusting to his teams. because then he started bringing in high level wings and high level bigs, so he had to kind of change it up a little bit. Um, but I think that from that stance, when I was becoming a point guard, he helped me tremendously. But then once I kind of got moved to the two, it just kind of changed because my whole role changed. And although I didn't want to be moved to the two, he told me like I need you to play the two because I have to I have to play around. Like I need you to play the two. So, I did it because he asked it of me and I did it to the best I could. But I would have really wanted to go one, play the one because I had a shit ton of more upside there and I was learning. It was fun for me, and it played to my strengths because we was pushing it on the break transition.
Yeah,
A lot of my stuff, like that's me. So, and I'm unselfish. So that was me. But I think that at that as far as him developing guards at that time, I don't think it was anybody better.
I think it's crazy to hear that because I didn't know that. I don't think a lot of people would know that, and I think it's not understood enough how much that changes your trajectory in the league. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes,
now it's like
for
if you
sure.
come into the league and someone's saying like, "Oh, Archie Goodwin was 6'5" point guard instead of 6'5" shooting guard,"
hmm
it's like the whole comparison
It's a whole
changes.
different ball game.
Now you Russell Westbrook instead of
Whole
Ray
different
Allen
ball
or
game.
whoever, and it's
100%.
like you know what, if the first
Exactly.
team don't work, it's like oh we could turn them into this because they said that. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? So I
hmm
think that yeah, that's interesting to hear, um,
Yep.
especially going to Phoenix because you went into Phoenix with wasn't
hmm
Bledsoe. Who was
Yep,
there like
Bled just got
Dragic?
there going. Dragic was there. Then the next year we had Isaiah Thomas come. So, and this was IT before he took off and went to Boston and went crazy. But the
Yeah,
year before that, he was still averaging a dub and sack. You know what I'm saying? So he was
yeah,
still cold. You know what I mean? So I was always put in a position where I never really got to really flourish as I wanted to as that type of guard for Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? I had one stint where I did, but we'll talk about that later.
yeah. That's I mean, shit. That's about what we was about to get into because that was your
Okay,
first
go
year.
ahead.
Yeah, your first year there where y'all wasn't that good, right? Like y'all had a tough year,
hmm
and the second year
We
y'all
sucked
won
every year I was
48
there.
games. Yeah,
No. The first year we won 48,
the
and then
first year
after
you
that we
won
sucked every
48 games. So again, talk about that. Again, coming into that situation, you the shooting guard instead of being a lead guard, and it's like I think Phoenix was you went into a rebuild situation and then y'all won 48 games, so now it kind of flipped into a win now situation. You know what I'm saying? So how difficult is that, especially as a young player? You 19 years old, kind of finding your way in maybe a position that's uncomfortable. Talk about all that.
Man, it was tough because that was my first time that I can say I really dealt with not playing like that. Um, from high school, from middle school, whatever. You know what I mean? I've always played. So for that to be my first time, it was tough and it was crazy because when I first got there, I remember like yesterday, before our first game, me and Bled went to like dinner, I mean lunch, like before the game, and we was just talking. I was kind of asking him questions, and he was just like, Archie, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, don't let this year discourage you because you're probably not gonna play a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause like that's just part of being a rookie, though. Like, especially with our team, we got me and Goran. Goran is projected to be All Star. This is my contract year. Like, a lot of those minutes is gonna be for us. So you got to kind of just stay post, stay patient, stay ready, and all that stuff. And what he said was true. You know what I mean? That's how it worked. And so I struggled with it just because even though with him telling me that, it was just hard for me because I've never dealt with that. And then at the time, I don't feel like I was getting enough mentorship from the right people to kind of help me deal with that. It was like I felt like I kind of felt like I was dealing with it all on my own. You know what I mean? And so that was real tough. So like to be being 19 and dealing with this by yourself, I stayed by myself. I was always by myself. That was real tough for me. You know what I mean? And when I look back at it now, I always think like, man, that was a tough situation. Obviously, if I was knew what I know now, I could handle it better. But I don't. You know what I'm saying? But just thinking back on it, it was a tough situation for me to kind of handle and deal with those things that were going on with that.
All right. So if you could go back and be your
Yeah,
own vet back when you
yeah.
was a rookie,
It's
what
like
would you what would you tell yourself on the court and off the court?
I would tell my off on the court, I never really had problems just because I worked really hard. Like I was first in, last to leave every day. Um, I did those things right. I think off the court, I would tell myself to stay positive because you don't understand the outlook that that's going to have for you. You know what I mean? Just from the outside looking in, how people look at you, and then just your overall morale. You know what I mean? Just telling yourself the right things and speaking the positive things into existence. Those things are what I do now. That I wish I would have did then, because then it wasn't that I was speaking negative, but I just didn't have a positive mindset on like let's say we playing a game and I might be thinking to myself, oh, I ain't getting in anyway. I might as well, like stuff like that. I wouldn't do that now because that mindset there doesn't prepare you for when you do get in. You know what I mean? So I think I would tell myself to stay out of a negative mindset for sure. And then if I was my own vet, I would keep myself around that person. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a vet now and I see a young person going through what I do, I would make myself be around that person more because I can relate to them and I can help them through it. And people don't understand how much that matters to have somebody really sit there and help you through that type of stuff because just being around that person, like for instance, just look at Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons. Anthony didn't play a lot in his first couple years. But one thing I know was he was always under Dame. You know what I mean? He was always under him. That makes a huge difference. And that's just one example. There's plenty of examples like that, but that one, it makes a huge difference for a player because now they're not as anxious. Now their mind isn't all over the place. They have somebody explaining to them and telling them, keeping them patient and keeping them understanding of their position in their situation. And then, bam, once his time came, he was ready. You know what I mean? So that's something that I would do for a young player that wasn't done for me.
Man, those stories need to be told more often too, because I think a lot of times you talk about can Dame win and this that, but guys like Dame and KD and Kylo, those dudes are really like taking some of these. It seems like in the stories that we hearing,
Yeah,
they taking these young dudes under their wing and really changing their lives for real. And that's like, I mean,
yeah, for
that's
sure.
invaluable information. That's crazy. But so when y'all went 48-34, did you feel or did you see the plans for you that Phoenix had? Did it change at all? You know what I'm saying? Did the
Man, it's confusing because at that time they weren't really telling me any quote unquote plans. It
mm-hmm.
was more so like just stay ready. You're young, you got a lot of potential. You know what I'm saying? It was more so like that. So at that time when we went there, they wanted to get better. So that's when they brought in IT the next year. We kept the same team pretty much and brought in IT. Um, and so they were going in with the expectations to make the playoffs. So honestly, it was confusing too because before trade deadline came that year when they brought in Isaiah, we were in like seventh or eighth place. We were seventh or eighth seed. So we were, on pace to make the playoffs. And then they just traded like him, Goran, Miles Plumlee. They traded everybody away, and then we went into rebuild mode in a way, in a sense, which was kind of confusing. I don't understand. I didn't kind of understand they concept of that. But but to answer your question, yeah, it was kind of more so like I wasn't really given a clear cut answer on what they were saying they wanted to do. It was more so like you're young, you have so much potential. Just continue to work hard, stay ready, stay positive. You know what I'm saying? That type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't really like a plan. Like okay, we're trying to because the thing is I've heard different stories from different players about their situations and what they were being told, and those just never resonated to what mine was with my coach. Because like even with it when he was in Sacramento, he wasn't playing that much at first, and he told me that his coach came to him and was like, man, I'm about to really give you opportunity, you about to go through you, blah blah blah. And then the rest was history. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a few stories like that from just different players. um, but I think with us being so guard heavy, with veteran guards, not young guards, but just with veteran guards at the time, and me being 18, 19, 20, it was hard for me to get that type of exposure because we had so many veteran guards that
Yeah.
were like brink all stars. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Goran was the most improved. Bled was a brink all star every year. IT became an all-star. He just was the sixth man of the year. You know, like it was always something. You know what I mean? It was always something, an obstacle at the positions that I was at.
Hey, so I got a question for both y'all. Like, especially for you, Archie, having lived it. With so much money in the NBA, do y'all think there should be some type of position for onboarding for rookies for your draft picks coming in? Like that each team should have a vet that solely looks after the rookie, solely,
Hmm.
kind of gets them ready. Is that doing too much? Is that is that feasible or not?
I think that I understand I get what you're saying, but I think that that would be doing too much in the sense of it has to be genuine. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it has to be a genuine relationship. Like some of these guys, because if you do it for that, you're just doing it for the paycheck. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
gotta have a person who's genuinely wants to see the young guys mature and grow. Like Udonis Haslam is another great example. Like you can tell he just wants the best for those guys. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like no matter what he says or how he says it, it's all because he wants what's best for those guys. You
yeah,
know, and if you have more guys like that, then yes, but it would be kind of hard to like assign a role to a person and then you be like he's being paid as like the vet guy, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
then guys like for me, I'm just looking at in my eyes like if I'm a young guy and I come into the league and I see that they sign a vet guy, like that's the position that he signed for, then I'm like, I mean, he might be telling me some good stuff, but he's just doing it because they paying him to do it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like it ain't like a real veteran. Like for instance, when I was there, like PJ and Tyson Chandler, they used to always pull Book to the side and kind of really tutor him and help him. You know what I'm saying? But it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like something like that is something that is more valuable to me. Like a real vet who's really playing, still in the field, playing hard, going into these guys and really teaching them and trying to hone them and help them to be a better professional on and off the court. Like that's way better for me than just a guy who's being paid to do it. You know what I mean?
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I think you need, like you said, I think you need somebody that's in the trenches. You know what I mean? And I think it's better
Hmm.
coming from somebody that's practicing and bumping with you every day on the court. Whereas, like sometimes you even see it with assistant coaches. Like sometimes you will get that assistant coach that you trust, but then there's still that
Hmm.
divide. Like you
It's
on the
still
other
like that.
side. Like
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
exactly,
you know what I mean? You could be
exactly.
tight with him, but then it's just still like we can only
100%.
get so close. So it's like I think
Uh-huh.
you really. So even if you had somebody hired on staff, you're still going to see him as staff as opposed to
Hmm.
a player. So I think it does
For
have to
sure.
come from a genuine place because. I mean, in order for you to really buy in and get the most out of a player, like he has to have that trust, and
Hmm.
it's hard to trust people that ain't really in the same shoes that you in
You
on a
ain't in
day
the
to
field
day.
with me,
Right,
for sure.
right. Nah, that's real. That's real. That's real. I mean, I still think shit. I feel like you gotta have you every job that you got some type of like, especially high paying, high level jobs, got some type of onboarding, something to help people get acclimated to the job. And I just feel
Yeah, I
like,
mean they have players, they have programs for that. You know
oh,
what
do
I'm
they?
saying?
Okay, all
But
right, well,
yeah, you know, like they got like the rookie transition program that you every rookie is obligated to take.
okay,
And then like throughout the year they'll have different people come in and have meetings with the young guys. Sometimes all the whole team just about finances and then
yeah,
off court stuff, how to handle things. Like they do a good job of that type of stuff. It's just about being a person actually taking heed and reciprocating that information back. But they do those things. They have those things there for sure. Like at least 3 or 4 times a year they bring those things in.
okay, all right. So you 27 now, right? 27,
Hmm.
about to be 28.
Yep. Hmm.
So have you signed anywhere yet?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet. So you're just waiting. So if you go back to Europe, what's your mindset going to Europe? And I would imagine you still are looking to crack back into the NBA. So what's your mindset like
100%.
on and off the court, trying to prepare to get back to the league?
So I think that it would just start with first off, I have to go somewhere where I'm able to showcase myself at a high level. Um, like, and it needs to be. I feel like it should be somewhere. If it's Europe, it needs to be Euro Cup, Euro League, Champions League, something like that for sure. Where you playing European competition. But being able to play in one of those type of situations with a high level team and winning, I think that that's my main mindset for this year. going somewhere and playing at a high level and being able to win as well. Because then um, a lot of I didn't realize this. A lot of NBA personnel watch a lot more European games than I thought. Like they watch a lot more of that stuff. So um, that's the thing for me, being able to do that and showcase myself and show my improvements, my maturity. All the things that I lacked as a youngin coming playing, showing those things, and then just seeing where it leads me. You just never know. Situations come out of anywhere. I've seen signs over these last few years that it's just right situations for guys. Like even if they're not that good, they just fell in the right situation or that was around the right people at the right time. You just never know what happens. So just staying optimistic and just being ready on whether it's Europe or NBA, whoever calls, and just being ready for whichever one comes.
I think from the outside looking in, I'm outside of my playing career now, but
Hmm.
if I let's say if I was in your shoes, man, I would sit and I would think, and I would probably even try to source this information and talk to somebody in the NBA team like, what is my
Hmm.
game missing right now? Why am I outside?
Hmm.
Right. So let's just say they
Right.
say you don't facilitate enough, from the wing, or if you were a point guard, you make it or whatever it is, and then I would go and source the highest level team in Europe that's going to allow me to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
okay, if I'm not
Hmm.
facilitating enough, I'm gonna go find a team that's gonna put the ball in my hands, and I'm about to lead this league in assists. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Hmm.
already got the size, I
Hmm.
already got the link, and by the time I get to the league, I'm not gonna be that scorer. So
Right.
it's like, what else
For
would
sure.
y'all need me to do? So I
Hmm.
think that, and obviously this is easier said than done because obviously there's finances in place, there's coaching, there's a whole
Hmm.
nother agenda from that European team. There's a
Hmm.
lot of other BS you got to take into consideration before choosing
Yeah.
a job. But I think, as we've heard on this podcast, like sometimes chasing the right role is more important
Yes,
than
it
the
is.
team.
Yeah. So you're 100% right, and I've done that in the past about certain things because at first it was they want to see me become a better shooter or whatever, and that was something that I've gotten a lot better at. And I shot close to 40 this year from three. On the whole year, I played in three different places. I played Puerto Rico, Ukraine, and I played in Israel. And I shot close to 40 in all three years. I mean, all three Western nations combined. So that was one thing that I was really proud of myself about that I've continued to get better at over the years. This improved every year, but this was like my best year as far as shooting. Um, and so now it's just like I said, it's just continually getting better. Um, I do have those conversations with my agent, and we talk about certain things, but a lot of it more so just boils down to getting in the right situation and being seen by the right people because the game part is not really a problem, but I do understand how stuff works, and when you are out of a certain place for a certain time, you have to just be re-seen again. You know what I mean? That's kind of more so where I'm at with it. Not just being in a situation where okay, y'all can see the new and improved me versus what you have been, what you might have seen when I was 20, 21, 22. You know what I mean? I'm 27, entering my prime. Now you're gonna see a way better version.
Yeah. So, having knowing all that, which country style of play you think is the best for you to showcase everything you need to?
Man, I really like Turkey and Israel. I played in Israel this past year. I just like places that allow their Americans to play.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you might go to a country where the Americans are there, but they don't really allow them to flourish like they can to really help the team. They more so want to showcase their domestic guys, you know. So for me, I went to Turkey and I didn't have that problem, and I went to Israel, Ukraine too, but Ukraine would just be situational. But I would say Turkey, Israel, and Germany's depending on the team, because Germany they'll let their Americans go too. The places like that where they let their Americans really play and have an impact on the team. That's where I would want to go because I'm a guy that I like to do a lot. Like I don't want to just be confined to doing just this. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I only want you to defend. Okay, I can defend. I defend the best players everywhere I go. Like every team
Right.
I played on, I always defend the best player. So I'll do that. But I also can help on the offensive end too, or I can also do this or that, whatever it is. Like I want to be able to do everything, opposed to especially in Europe. Like it's different. NBA is different. You know what I'm saying? Like it switches there, but like in Europe, where I consider myself one of the better players for sure, I want to be able to do everything in my possible and my abilities to showcase myself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about for me.
yeah. You athletic enough, talented enough to be getting triple doubles. I used to
Exactly.
have Scotty Hobson on my team, man, and
Mhm.
Scotty would want to score 30. You know, he a scorer, and I tell Scotty,
Yeah.
bro, just go get you 15, 11, and 9, like, and like if
Mhm.
you and Scotty was
Mhm.
so tapped, man, you tell him to go do it, and the motherfucker would go do it, like it was nothing.
Mhm.
And then the next game, he trying to score
Mhm.
30 again. Like I'm like, but he could do that too. So it's like it's crazy.
Mhm.
It's difficult to change your game. I guess is my point and adapt. So that's a credit to you to be cognizant of that
Mhm.
and really trying to get that
For
done.
sure.
So,
For sure.
Yeah,
but
I think
you,
I've been talking to a lot of people in like the NBA front offices and stuff like that, and it's funny
Mhm.
because I always say that Israel and Turkey is probably the most translatable style of play in regards to the
Yep.
NBA.
100%. Yep.
But it's like when you start looking up the ladder of it's like that game of telephone, right? You know, one person telling the next
Mhm.
person telling the next person. Like you look at the majority of these scouts, they're all
Mhm.
from the Balkans or like Western Europe.
Mhm.
So they look
Yeah.
at like Middle Eastern basketball and they're like, okay, they don't play no defense. And
Mhm.
though you can go out there and you can find some defense or whatever it is, or I don't think the defense is that much worse there compared to Adriatic League or like Spain or anywhere else.
Yeah.
But that
Mhm.
that's the source of where the information is coming from, and that's getting passed
Right.
up the line. So it's like you could have a player in Turkey or Israel and he's cooking, but at the same time,
Mhm.
whoever saw
They're
him
saying
on
they
a
don't
day
play
to
no
day,
defense over
he's
there.
like that
Yeah.
he killing, but they ain't play no defense. And then that word is
Right.
getting up the line, whereas somebody like
Uh-huh.
maybe in like a France or Spain, and I think that these are the things
Yep.
that players don't necessarily think about when choosing jobs.
Mhm. Yep.
And I think that that's it's important, man, because it's easy
Yeah.
to say like, man, I've been killing. How come? Atlanta don't want me, and it's like you
Mhm.
gotta look at who's doing all the scouting for
And France is
Atlanta.
a I didn't mention France. France is a good place too. I enjoyed playing in France too.
France.
France, they have those some teams in France let their guys play. Like it's just all about letting your guys play within their capabilities. To me, like as long as you're letting you go somewhere where you allow the guy to play within their capabilities, then I'm all for it. So I like France too. France is another place as well. I forgot to mention them. I like them too.
So we gotta do we limited on time. So go ahead, we do paycheck rain check real quick.
All right, man. Paycheck, rain check, man. Somebody's paycheck from last year is taking a rain check, and man, I wanna highlight some of these overseas guys, man. Is my dog Chima, Moneke, and Simone Fontecchio both signed in the NBA this year. So the question is in this segment is killing overseas more respected now in regards to being a path to the NBA for undrafted players?
Yes, I think undrafted players when it comes to undrafted players, I think that whatever place they can go to is an advantage for them because you see them coming out of the G League, you see them coming out of Europe. Juan Castano came out of Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think, man, being undrafted, you have a bigger advantage of getting somewhere if you can really get better and then showcase yourself because when you jump onto the scene, like I said, NBA is all about entertainment, it's all about stories. If you can jump onto the scene as an undrafted player to being a really good player for a team, that's just gonna give that team more pub. It's gonna give them more to go off of. Think about Lou Dort. Same exact thing. He went from a 2-way to making 85. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a great story. So I think that being undrafted has its advantages if you can showcase yourself the right way.
And I always thought it was respected. I thought that was the most respected way to do so. Like shit, you really gotta you going to the bottom of the totem pole in Europe,
Yeah,
climbing all the way up the totem pole, then you
yeah.
going to the league,
How
you gotta
his
do it
story,
again.
that sign with Sacramento, his is crazy because I seen him tweet something about it saying like he got cut second division somewhere to being that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that is an amazing story.
Yeah. I
especially
mean,
especially as a
Javante Green.
non-European.
Yeah, Javante
Go ahead.
Green too. He came from second division Italy, and then he
Mhm.
he got out to the league. I mean, he was a freak athlete,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, there's all kind of stories like that are
Oh
dope.
man, that's
I think
amazing, man.
especially as an American though too, because like you said, I feel like those scouts that are checking out Europe, they're more inclined to take a European player if they
Mhm.
can back to the NBA than they are
For
the
sure.
Americans. Like
For sure.
you see dudes like Brad Wanamaker and Malcolm Delaney. You know, they
Mhm.
getting offered two ways after being first team All Euro League or
And it's
getting offered
crazy.
vet men's, and then
Look
they
at
give
Mike
Campazzo
James,
two
man.
years
Like
for
you
six.
gonna give
Mike
Mike
James, like
James a league minimum?
they gave him. I think shit. I think when he went to Phoenix that first time, they didn't even give him that. I wasn't he on?
Bro,
I
they
thought he
they
was on a
they was
two
on the
way the
two way.
first time.
He was on the two
Yeah,
way. Crazy.
yeah.
He
So
goes
like
to Europe
that
and is the
type of
best
stuff
player every
is,
year.
man, that stuff kills me. And then a guy like Campazzo, and who's the other dude that just got signed from Italy, the Italian cat.
They come and get deals like that quick.
Just come and get a guaranteed deal immediately. And I'm blanking on dude's name right now. Simone Fontecchio or whatever.
Fontecchio, yeah,
Simone
Fontecchio.
Mhm.
Fontecchio, yeah. And he comes in and gets a 2 year deal. I don't. It's like $6 million deal.
Right.
I
Like
think
my
it's something
thing
like
is,
that.
how do you not? How does Shane Larkin not have a NBA deal right now? Right. How does how he kills Europe every year? He's won the last two Euro leagues. He's okay with coming off the bench. He's made that clear. He just wants to have a prominent role. How does he
So I
not get
think
a job?
we had Shane on here, and I think he said that he kind of prefers his role right now, unless it's something that's really just he can't say no to.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
Which
think
when
he
I
does
talk
have
to
offers, which
him,
he should get.
I'm sure he gets offers, but like when I talk to him,
Yeah,
the last time I talked to him, he said it was like they're trying to bring him in as like the third PG, which is absurd. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
no. Why would you be
It's
the third
crazy.
PG when you're arguably the number one option? You and Mitch is number one and number two option, depending on the night on your team, and you playing
Well,
on the
I think
second best league in the
I,
world.
I think to your point, Mitchich is gonna get a guaranteed deal. It looks like for a decent amount. It don't make no sense that Shane wouldn't get at least the same deal
Hmm.
at the
But
For
very
sure.
least.
this my thing though is like whether you bringing over a European player or an American player that played in Europe, it's like why bring him over if you ain't got no plans for him? You know what I'm saying?
For
It's like when
sure.
they brought James Nunnally, like he didn't play. Like you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like
Like, what's the
why are
point?
you bringing this man out of there if you don't have no plans for him? Like I get it if he comes and he's just not what you thought he was, that's fine.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because some guys slip sometimes, whatever it
Yeah.
is. But you see it so many times, man. They bringing guys over and then it's like they're
Even with
not even
Malcolm,
given the opportunity.
when Atlanta brought Malcolm over, they weren't really giving him a chance like that. Like he didn't
Right.
really get a chance to play for real, for real. It's just like, dude, he was killing Europe every year, bringing me over for what?
Yeah.
Like now, Campazzo when he came, he's been playing a prominent role.
But
You know what
shoot,
I'm saying?
he played until he proved he couldn't.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, like, no disrespect, but it's like, it's like, but I mean, come on, man, like,
No,
man, that man, they was
look,
gassing. He
look.
was,
You gonna stop? You
nah,
gonna stop saying no disrespect after you insult people? Just let it
Hey,
ride. Just let it
hey, say
ride.
it with
No
your chest, baby.
respectfully,
disrespect.
Let it hang out. Yeah.
respectfully, I'm just saying he was in the production meetings on TNT and all that. Like, we gotta talk about this dude because they over here talking about he's a great defender. He's harassing Dame Lillard. Man, watch
Man,
out,
cut
man.
that out.
I
Ain't
ain't got
nobody
time for it.
harassing
Watch
Dame. I
out.
don't even know what they talking about. They
No,
just talking.
buddy took one charge and all of a sudden, like, come on, fam, calm down,
It's like they
calm
forgot to
down,
mention the
because
30, the other 30 points he got put on it. They ain't talking about those.
man. But listen, before we go too, we got to talk about this because this is another ongoing conversation.
Mhm.
DeAndre Ayton got his max deal.
Mhm.
Put some respect on his name.
Mhm.
You know who you are. You know who you are.
We
Put
got
some
we got the
respect on
fan.
my
We got the
man's
DeAndre
name.
Ayton fan club over here on the
Put
on
some
the
respect on
podcast.
DeAndre Ayton. Got his max
I want you to put a
contract,
name
man.
on it. Who you talking about? You know who you are.
This man Anthony
Yeah,
Goods did
yeah.
not respect. You talking
Oh,
about
No, he
the?
ain't no max. I wouldn't give him the max. I wouldn't give him the max, and he
you
still
got
he
to,
still got underpaid from what he wanted. He still got a little
man.
No,
underpaid from what he wanted.
he just got 1 year less.
I think that
Yeah.
I mean, you might not want to give him the max, bro, but you got to think about who he's playing with and how productive he is while playing with those guys. That's why I would see like I feel like he's a max player. Like to still
Okay, but
average
if
the
you
Thank you.
numbers he
tossed him,
averaged with
if you
those
tossed him
guys.
the
Thank
ball,
you.
if you tossed him the ball, you think if you just like ran things through him, you think you getting the same production, or do you think
Y'all
some of
didn't
his
watch the
production is
playoffs?
coming
I
because
really
of who
feel
he's
like
playing with?
he'll give you 20 and 10 easy for sure.
Hey, you didn't watch the playoffs when Devin Booker was hurt? Who was the number one option?
I feel like he'll give you 20 and 10 for sure. If you got a point guard that can get him the ball in the right positions, 20 and 10 for sure.
Okay, but looking
When
at the
when
full
Devin
body of
Booker
work,
was
looking at the
hurt,
full, hold on, looking at the full body of work, and looking at free agency, which was one of the worst free agency years, in the last however many years. How come he ain't get that max off rip? How come he ain't had that max midnight, June
listen,
30th?
Man, they ain't
Tell
gonna
listen,
me.
get that.
because I'm gonna tell you the same things we was just talking about because you can't trust these fugazi niggas in the front office. But that being said, before we let Archie go, you know what I'm saying? One last question. I know you got a couple minutes. Are you trading KD for Bron straight up?
No, I wouldn't.
If you're the Lakers, are you taking KD for Bron straight up?
No, I
Not
wouldn't.
doing it.
No,
Wouldn't do it.
LeBron's too valuable to me. Until LeBron slow down, he the best player in the league. That's just my opinion. Until he slows down, I get that Giannis is doing his thing and everybody else is respectfully doing their thing, but his production at the level it is at his age, still being how it is, to me, until he slows down, he's the best player in the league. To me, that's just me. But I wouldn't trade KD for him. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you. LeBron was the best player until last year. Last year he slowed down. His impact on the game wasn't the same.
Okay,
His
impact on
numbers
the
was
game.
His
crazy.
That's what
his
I'm about to say.
numbers was
Numbers.
crazy, but his impact was not the same as it has been in
I
a
agree.
very
I
like
agree.
he
I
didn't
feel
he
I
didn't
feel like
he
he had to
couldn't
do a lot
elevate.
more carrying last year than in years past though.
He
I
did
think
he
so. He
did he
did. I
did.
think he did too. But just think about this: the defenses are all predicated towards him right now. It's what is last year, and he still averaged a very efficient 30. Like that ain't a lot. You can't name somebody that's doing that. And these other dudes
I
are significantly younger. Like KD, like he's 37, about to be 38 this year. KD's 33, I think. You know what I'm saying? You
yeah.
got all these other. Giannis is 27. Giannis is my age. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are predominantly younger than him, and he's still doing what he's doing at this high of a level. Man,
No
it's
question.
LeBron for me.
No question. Hey, he's still great. He's still he my goat, but it just ain't the same impact. But we'll see
Nah,
this
I'm
year,
not gonna
man. We'll
say he's
see
my
this year.
goat. He's not my goat, but
He's my goat. I ain't say he's the goat. He's my goat. He's my goat.
respect,
Hey
respect.
man, hey, but we'll let you go, man. Good luck in the TBT. We appreciate you joining us. All good things. Keep us posted where you sign. We'll repost on the page and
Yeah,
all
for
that.
sure.
And I
And
appreciate you joining us, man.
yeah, I appreciate that too, man. If y'all do any lives, man, let me know because we didn't. It was a lot of stuff we didn't get to cover because I got to go to this meeting. So we can jump
Yeah,
on a live or something and cover some of the real good stuff that y'all want to talk about. You know what I mean? That we didn't get to really touch on. So whenever y'all open to
you,
do that, we can do that too.
we could do a part two too. We could do a part
Yeah, we
two
can
as
do either
well. Do like a
one.
30 minute
Either
part
one.
two or something like that.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Bet, bet. All right,
All
appreciate
right.
you, man.
Appreciate
We'll
y'all
holler
too,
at you
bro.
soon. Good luck.
Yep.